Usually when we read the gospel accounts of Jesus traveling around, meeting different people, preaching the word of God, and doing a lot of miracles, healing a lot of people, we usually see the people marveling at Jesus, marveling at the things he was saying and the things he was doing. But there were occasions, believe it or not, there were occasions where Jesus himself marveled at someone else. There's a couple occasions. One occasion we find today in Luke chapter 7. In Luke chapter 7, beginning in verse 1, after Jesus had finished his sayings, his teachings from what we read in chapter 6, he entered Capernaum. And when he came to Capernaum, then in verse 2, we're told that a certain centurion's servant, who was dear to this man, was sick and ready to die. So when this centurion heard about Jesus, he sent elders of the Jews to Jesus, pleading with him to come and to heal his servant. So here is this Roman centurion. He obviously, and we're going to read some more about this in a minute, has connection with the Jews. He hears about Jesus, obviously hears what Jesus has been doing, the miracles and such. Well, this man has a servant who he cares about a lot. And the servant is so sick, he's about to die. The man hears about Jesus and being in the area, talks to the elders of the Jews, please go get Jesus. Please get Jesus to come and to heal my servant. Talk about faith. We're going to see that faith here. Verse 4, when they came to Jesus, they begged him earnestly, saying that the one for whom he should do this was deserving. And this is what they said. For he loves our nation and has built us a synagogue. This centurion had a good relationship with the Jews. And the Jews feel that this man is deserving and worthy of Jesus to come and heal his servant. So Jesus went with them, verse 6, and when he was already not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to Jesus, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy. Hear that. Hear what this man says. This man sent the elders of the Jews to get Jesus. Jesus is coming. Jesus is not far from getting to the house. He sends his friends to give this message to Jesus of, Lord, do not trouble yourself to come in here. I am not worthy. So not only is this man a man of faith, but he is a man of great humility. He doesn't even want Jesus to come in. He doesn't feel worthy for Jesus to step foot in his home. Talk about honoring Jesus. And so verse 7, he says, the message is, therefore I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. The man didn't feel worthy to go to Jesus, doesn't feel worthy to have Jesus in his home. But then he says to Jesus, the message to Jesus is this, but say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man placed under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. And to another, come, and he comes. And I can say to my servant, do this, and he does it. This man not only has faith that Jesus can heal his servant, but he has so much faith in Jesus and in the authority of Jesus. I mean, this centurion says, I understand how authority works. You know, me as a centurion, I tell people what to do, when to do it, where to go, and they do it. He says to Jesus, I know and I believe that all you have to do is say that my servant be healed, and he will be healed. What amazing faith. Which is why, verse 9, after this message is given to Jesus, when Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him. Jesus marveled at the faith of this Gentile centurion. Jesus marveled at him and turned around and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. Wow. And ouch at the same time. Jesus now tells basically all of Israel, folks, this centurion, this Gentile centurion has more faith than anybody in the nation of Israel. Jesus marveled at the faith of this man who did show great faith in calling Jesus with humility, not feeling worthy that Jesus, to even talk to Jesus, for Jesus to come into his home, believing that all Jesus had to do is say the word and he'd be healed. And sure enough, after Jesus said that to the crowd, verse 10, and those who were sent returning to the house found the servant well who had been sick. All Jesus had to do, Jesus didn't even go into the house. Jesus didn't even see the man. All Jesus had to do was say, this man be healed. And he was healed. That is exactly what Jesus can do. What Jesus did, what the centurion believed Jesus could do. Folks, you talk about faith. You talk about an example to encourage us today to have faith in Jesus, to have faith in God. That's it. This man, this centurion, shows faith. Great faith. And would Jesus say to us today? Would Jesus say to us that the centurion had more faith in him and in God than any of us in the church today? You know, this should be as much a challenge to us today, just as much as it was a challenge to them then. Where is our faith? Are we growing in faith? Do we truly believe in what God has done, what God can do, and what God has promised to do? May this be an awesome encouragement to all of us in our faith. And let's marvel like Jesus at such great faith as we marvel at Jesus and his awesomeness and love. God bless.